adventure starts off in Sacramento, California, April 26th at 4 a.m. Well, 4 a.m. is a bit early. Maybe 4:05. The day starts out like any other. Wake up, go to the restroom, brush your teeth, maybe get just a couple more minutes shut-eye before actually having to do anything. Now that everyone is fully awake, Team Maximum Pulse makes the long drive down to San Bruno, California to enter one of the very first VGC Premier events of 2014. A top 8 here would be very big for any of us, as it would give us confidence for the rest of the season, as well as future seasons ahead. With the coming of Gen 6, we know a lot of trainers are going to be using many different Mega Evolutions as their core for their teams. We hope to gather accurate data on these Mega Evolutions, as well as produce a great showing for Maximum Pulse. Hopefully, we can all make top 8 without eliminating each other, which is something that usually tends to happen, and just have a lot of fun. During the car ride down to San Bruno, Jim Hamilton and I decided to have a fun battle just to get rid of some of those last minute jitters before VGC, as well as waste some time because the car ride was actually pretty long. I'll be using this battle as somewhat of a tutorial to explain what VGC format is, and you guys are going to see me get completely destroyed in this battle, so that's going to be kind of funny too. Anyways, enjoy. Here's the battle I played against GM Hamilton on the car ride down to San Bruno. As you can see, his team on the left hand side is going to be Mega Kangaskhan, Talonflame, Azumarill, and Rotom Wash. My team on the right hand side is Rotom Heat, Lantern, Salamence, and Kangaskhan. This is a very fast battle as VGC games tend to be a lot higher paced than singles, and games can be won or lost in a single turn depending on a misplay. The way VGC doubles works is each trainer brings 6 Pokemon to the battle. Then, depending on the team preview, in which both trainers can look at the opponent's team, you then pick 4 of your Pokemon and decide to use those 4 in battle. Let's hop right into this one and see me get destroyed. Alright, so THATSA, which is my in-game name, is going to be issuing a challenge against GM Hamilton, who decides to lead off with his Kangaskhan and his Talonflame like I mentioned earlier. My team is going to be Lantern and Rotom Heat, which is a team that I'm testing for this tournament, and specifically a lead that I'm testing in this tournament. I decided to recall my Rotom Heat and send out a Salamence to get a nice Intimidate on both of his physical attackers. He decides to go for the obvious Mega Evolution, which really boosts Kangaskhan's stats, as well as gives it a great ability in Parental Bond, which pretty much lets it attack twice. I decided to use Protect with my Rotom because I'd really not like to get Fake Outed, and his Talonflame takes advantage of that and uses Tailwind, which doubles the speed of all of his Pokemon on his team for 3 turns. His Kangaskhan read my play, and instead of using Fake Out, decided to go for a Power Up Punch on my Salamence. Power Punch is a move that, whenever it makes contact, raises your attack by 1.5, and since Mega Kangaskhan's ability lets it hit twice, it got a ×2 attack boost. I then decided to Protect with my Salamence, expecting it to get nuked, and he decides to go for my Lantern instead. Luckily, I survive after 1 return and use my item, which is a Citrus Berry, which can restore 30% of my HP. But then the second Power Up Punch gets a critical hit, which is a move that has 1.5 the power of a regular hit, and it's going to finish me off. Like I said earlier, games can be won and lost depending on luck, and a single turn can throw the game in whichever trainer takes advantage of its favor, I guess. I decided to send out my Mega Kangaskhan, but at this point, I'm extremely behind. I Mega Evolve, but there's not really that much I can do at this point. His Talonflame decides to go for a priority move in Brave Bird, doing a lot of damage to my Salamence even though he has a -1 attack. We also see that he loses health from his Life Orb. We then see his Kangaskhan go for a return. I was expecting him to do something different, because I could have really Fake Outed, but at this point, I've pretty much lost the game, and it looks like I'm going to get 4-stocked. Since my Salamence lived the Brave Bird, I get to get a Dragon Pulse off in his Kangaskhan, but you can see that he's extremely bulky. At this point, I decided to run from the battle as the game was pretty much lost. GM Hamilton knows a lot about my playstyle and we built both of our teams together, so it's really no sweat losing to him, and I'm pretty glad that I gave confidence to him going into the event, even if it was at the cost of my own. I feel that he has a great shot to win the event, and hopefully, I just gotta not get crit and see what happens from there. Hopefully that battle familiarized you a bit more with VGC play and showed how it's really a different format from singles in many different ways. In VGC, crits and misplays are a lot more punishable and have a greater effect on the game since the games are so much faster paced. In that game, I got crit and I lost bad. Usually, I don't get 4-stocked, and hopefully that's the last time it happens this tournament. Finally, after what seems like an eternity in the car, the team makes it to our desired location, a Carl's Jr. Believe it or not, this is actually where the tournament was held. Apparently, it was a free venue, and no one can really disagree with a milkshake after a crushing defeat. The tournament doesn't start for another hour and a half. We got here really early, but it's cool. No problem. Slowly but surely, people start coming in, and we start seeing a pretty decent turnout, full of a lot of top-tier players. While burning time until the tournament starts, some people play just casual games with their DS, other people vote to play cards. Our team decided to play cards, and this is just going to be a little video of that.
Double check that friendship cannon effect.
You're taking forever.
The friendship cannon effect.
It's okay. It's just a friendship cannon effect.
Oh yeah, I don't actually... Okay, just discard any card.
Discard any card, it's what it should be.
From hand to my hand. Okay, so I'll discard that card, which means that I have plenty of stock.
There you go. K2, tap, deck refresh.
Yep.
Did you draw a climax?
Yes. I drew the friendship cannon climax combo.
Yeah, dude, I told you.
So you're going to be taking 5.
I'm actually not.
I know. But if you do, I
think I have 5 in deck.
I would be so stoked if you took it all.
Yeah, I'm out 3. And I'm still at level 2.
I have to go for it. It's not like I got a level 3 to play either.
Yeah.
All my level 3s were here and here.
It's okay. We're burning daylight. We're burning daylight. Hurry up.
Sorry. Card tap.
Tap's fine.
Alright. Okay. Play.
Alright, that is a level 2. It's weak.
But that's on your turn. That's on your turn.
Alright. So you're strong now.
Yeah, I'm strong. You can kill this guy. He's weak.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, so play this. Activate climax combo with discarding a card.
Yeah.
You take 5.
I need 2 more stocks. Can I have 2 more stocks? You cannot. You have to attack.
Yeah, I took 5. Sad face, friendship cannon, just ate it.
And it's plus 1,000 plus 1.
Are you sure you have to discard just a card for that? That's crazy good. Okay. Is that the climax combo there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right, it's the climax combo for friendship cannon. Oh yeah, we gotta shake hands because friendship cannon. There you go, that's the rule. While we were playing cards, a couple of the tournament's top competitors showed up. Amari Travis, otherwise known as Bad Intent, who is currently sitting at the #1 spot for championship points earned in the VGC 2014 season, and a shoo-in to win the tournament, as well as Rasta Charmander, who's on the left. Both of these players know a lot about the VGC metagame, and we probably can't win the tournament without defeating them as a team. Hopefully, some of us play them before top 8 have a good idea on what they're using for this tournament. Here's a detailed look at everyone's team for the tournament. I'll be updating this page at the end of every single round. You can see not only how our players are doing individually, but as a team. You can see every single one of the Pokemon that each of our players have entered in this tournament right next to our pictures. My team is going to be Lantern, Rotom Heat, Garchomp, Scizor, Mega Kangaskhan, and Salamence. Team Hamilton's team right under me is Mega Kangaskhan, Talonflame, Salamence, Azumarill, Scizor, and Rotom Wash. Under him is Jellysound, who uses Garchomp, Mega Manectric, Rotom Wash, Noivern, Exploud, and Mamoswine. And last but not least, we have Patty using Mega Kangaskhan, Salamence, Scizor, Rotom Wash, Conkeldurr, and Amoonguss. For the most part, 3 out of the 4 of us prefer using Mega Kangaskhan as our Mega Evolution of choice, while Jellysound prefers to go with Mega Manectric. But that doesn't really slow his team down. Mega Manectric is a great counter to Mega Kangaskhan in some ways. You also see that every single team uses a Rotom in it, 3 out of the 4 of us using a Rotom Wash, while I'm the only one using a Rotom Heat. 3 out of the 4 of us also tend to favor using Scizor. While Scizor has fallen out of play recently, our team still believes that it has the potential to make miracles happen. As you can see, our teams are all relatively similar. At 10 AM, the tournament officially starts. Everyone gathers up their belongings and makes their way to where the rounds have been posted. Once you find your name on the list, you make your way to the designated table and meet your opponent. This process will repeat for 5 rounds of Swiss play until top 8. For this round, me and Patty actually got seated next to Bad Intent and Ross the Charmander. I really wanted to play against them, but not so early on in the tournament. Luckily for us, this was just a roll call for the explanation of the rules. We would meet our real first round opponents shortly after. After hearing the explanation of the rules, I finally get to meet my first round opponent. It's none other than Jim Hamilton, a teammate who just 4-stocked me about an hour ago. I couldn't believe out of all the people in the tournament, I had to fight him in the first round. That seems like, a final battle. He's the opponent I wanted to defeat in the last round for the title to be number 1, but playing in the first round has its ups and downs. Of course, one of us gets to lose, but one of us gets to win. And I can't really be salty about that, even though I'm gonna be. You can see that both of us brought the same 4 Pokemon on both sides, except for I decided to switch up my order a little bit. Instead of leading with Rotom Lantern, this game I'm leading with Mega Kangaskhan and Salamence. Let's see how it goes for me this time. Alright, so I'm going to be leading off with my Salamence and my Mega Kangaskhan like before, and Jim Hamilton is going to be doing the exact same lead. Now seeing as we just played an hour ago, you would expect the moves to be either extremely the same or completely different. That's one of the things that's weird about VGC when playing the same opponent 2 games in a row. We both decide to Mega Evolve, which is something you always want to do with Mega Kangaskhan in a mirror matchup. And my Kangaskhan is most definitely faster than his. Depending on how you EV train your Pokemon, some Pokemon are faster than others, even though they're the same Pokemon. My Kangaskhan is a speedier version, his is a more tanky one. I decided to go for the Fake Out, because I don't really want him faking out any of my Pokemon. Fake Out's going to hit twice and it's going to make him flinch. He decides to go for the Tailwind. Things are starting off the same way they did last game, incredibly terrible for me. You see, I then go for a Hydro Pump and miss. And Hydro Pump was targeting his Talonflame, and it would have killed it. But, Hydro Pump is an 80% accuracy move, and it doesn't always hit. Like I said earlier, hacks is a big part of the game, and that miss pretty much just lost me the game. You see, I go for a Sucker Punch on his Kangaskhan. It's a priority move that lets me go first, but use a weaker attack. It's not really going to do all that much damage, and then you're going to see him hit me with a Power Punch. The same way he went last game, getting a nice 2x attack, and going for the sweep from there. There's not really all that much I can do. Just like last game, I get a Dragon Pulse off, but we already know that it doesn't do all that much. It leaves him at 3 HP, which is another really unlucky low-end attack for me. We're going to see his Talonflame, who should have died 2 turns ago, get, I think, a 3rd Brave Bird off. And leaving the Talonflame alone was pretty much the biggest mistake of the match for me. I guess I kind of went on tilt after I missed the Hydro Pump on it, but even though I missed the Hydro Pump, there was still really no coming back, because the Kangaskhan got a +2 from the Power Punch. Overall, this is one of the worst games of the tournament for me, but it's a great game from him, and his confidence just should be so high after this win. I decided to go to my Rotom just to eat the Brave Bird because I knew it was coming, and I can't believe that the Talonflame looks like it's actually going to kill itself with recoil damage, which is something you never see. Like, if the Talonflame has a chance to kill itself with recoil damage, you've done something terribly wrong. If you're not killing it yourself, it's going to beat you. It's one of the few advantages of Talonflame, I guess. I send in my Kangaskhan, and I go for a priority Fake Out to finally kill off his Mega Kangaskhan. But at this point, the damage has been done. My Salamence is gone, my Kangaskhan's gonna die here. My Rotom should be able to kill off his Talonflame, but I don't know what his secondaries are. I didn't get to see them in the first match either, so he knows all of my strategies, well, for this game, and I know none of his. So like I said earlier, I'm going to kill his Talonflame. It's going to go down. Volt Switch is a move that lets me hit them, switch out, and then send another Pokemon out. In this situation, it's really good, because I get to send my Lantern out, and then send my Rotom back out. My Rotom has the item Choice Scarf, which multiplies its speed by 1.5, but locks it into one move. So being able to change my move for a second time is really good. You see that he decided to send out his Azumarill and his Rotom, which means he brought the perfect 4 Pokemon to take out my team, and that's a really good play from him. My Rotom's going to go down to a priority Aqua Jet, and you're going to see his Rotom pop a Light Screen, which multiplies the whole special defense of his team, I think, by 1.5. Pretty much meaning I can't really do any damage to his Pokemon at this point anymore. I decided to go for a Protect just to try and PP out, the Play Roughs and the Hydro Pumps, but at this point there's no real, coming back. You see his Rotom go for a Hydro Pump. That's pretty much the only attack Rotom has that can hit Lantern. And then I'm going to go for a Scald. Now, if I can burn this Azumarill, I might be able to come back, but I'm not even going to get the 30% chance burn. He's going to hit me with a Play Rough. It's going to get me super low, make me use my Citrus Berry. Yeah, I'm really just delaying the inevitable. This game's pretty much over, and I decided to run right there without letting my Lantern go down. Not gonna lie, I was kind of salty, but, these things happen, and I'm at least glad that a teammate got the win instead of just some random scrub that I happen to miss a Hydro Pump against. Hopefully he can use this momentum to advance further in the tournament, and I'm sure that I'll just make it back up through the later rounds, seeing as I'm going to be also fighting other people who lost that round. That's it for my game. Let's go check out Jellysound's game on, another video. Moving on to Jellysound's game, we see his team on the left-hand side is Exploud, Noivern, Mamoswine, and Rotom Wash. His team excels at using AoE moves and covering up for them through the use of abilities and great typing. On the right-hand side, we see 7 BDF's team using Politoed, Kingdra, Talonflame, and Mawile. This is a great team because the Drizzle from Politoed covers up for Mawile's weakness to fire, and it also uses the Swift Swim of Kingdra to give it a speed boost. Let's hop into it and see which one of these trainers comes out ahead. Alright, like I said earlier, it's going to be Noivern and Exploud versus Kingdra and Politoed. Like I said, these teams can lay down huge AoE, and pretty much the first person to take a hit is probably going to be the person who loses in this situation. We're going to see the Noivern go for Protect. It really doesn't want to mess with that Kingdra. We're then going to see Kingdra, I guess, expect the Protect and go for a Draco Meteor on Exploud. Now I know from experience that Jellysound's Exploud has an Assault Vest, so we can eat that Draco Meteor and still live through it, at least for this turn. We're then going to see the Exploud go for a Boom Burst, a move that hits every Pokemon on the field other than the user, and Noivern obviously avoided the damage with Protect, but its ability is also Telepathy, so it would have been fine anyways. We're going to see Politoed get switched out with an Eject button, and Talonflame come in for the potential cleanup next turn. Since Swift Swim is active, Kingdra becomes a lot faster, and we're going to see its Draco Meteor hit the Exploud, finishing it off this turn. Like I said, pretty much the first person to get hit in this situation was the one who lost the trade. We're then going to see Noivern go for a Tailwind. Tailwind is a move you saw last game, which doubles your team speed by 2 for 3 turns. We then see Talonflame U-turn the Noivern, breaking its Focus Sash. Really smart play from the opponent here. Talonflame then switches out, and Politoed comes back in. It's a really great idea to send Politoed back in here, not revealing your 4th Pokemon. Really great play. We then see Rotom come in. Rotom has the ability to use AoE Electric type attacks, which are really great in this situation. We then see Mawile come in, using its ability Intimidate, gonna lower the attack of both the opposing Pokemon. In this situation, it's not that great considering they're 2 special attackers, but I guess he just didn't want to stay in with the Kingdra. We then see Noivern use Hurricane. Hurricane's a funny move. It's a 120 base flying stabbed move that has a 30% chance to paralyze and has 100% accuracy in the rain. It's really cool that he gets to use it in this situation. And after that, we see Rotom go for the Discharge. We see Noivern avoid it with Telepathy. It hits both the opposing Pokemon, finishing up the Politoed and actually getting a Paralyze on the Mawile, which is one of the best possible things that can happen. Mawile starts this turn off by Mega Evolving, gaining the ability Huge Power, which greatly increases the bulk and its attack. Like, this Mawile is so strong right now. We see Noivern, through the use of the Tailwind, be able to kill the Kingdra with a Hurricane, and then we see Rotom Volt Switch out against the slow Mawile. Look how much bulkier that Pokemon is. Wow, it's crazy. We then see Mamoswine come in, and it looks like Jellysound just brought the perfect 4 Pokemon for this team. He correctly read the team preview, and there was pretty much no way that the opponent could have actually picked 4 to counter these 4. At least that's how I see it. We see Rotom come back out, and then we see Talonflame come back out. Like I said, there's literally nothing those 2 Pokemon can do to beat these 2 Pokemon. We see the Talonflame and the Mawile both go for Protect, and that's just to bait out the Tailwind, because the Tailwind's still on its last turn. We see Mamoswine go for a Rock Slide, and we see Rotom go for a Discharge. Now, Mamoswine's a ground type, so it won't take damage from the Discharge. We could also see an Earthquake from Mamoswine, and Rotom would avoid the damage with its Levitate. They have great synergy together. Talonflame's then going to go for a Brave Bird on the Mamoswine, and it's actually going to get a critical hit, knocking it out. And right here, if I were Jellysound, oh man, I would be so nervous. Because at this point, if you don't kill the Talonflame, that Mawile is going to mess you up. Luckily for him, he made the correct choice and went for an AoE move instead of a single target move in Discharge, finishing off the Talonflame and doing a nice chunk to the Mawile. We then see Mawile go for its last move, Iron Head. Now you can assume that Iron Head was supposed to be targeting the Mamoswine, and since it disappeared, it was moved to Rotom. If it had been Play Rough in that situation, I think Mawile could have then Sucker Punched to potentially win the game. But in this situation, Jellysound came out the winner in a great game from both sides. So here are the standings after round 1. Unfortunately, I lost to GM Hamilton, and I go down to 0 wins and 1 loss. Luckily for him, Jim Hamilton got a free win against me, going up 1-0 in the tournament. We also saw Jellysound get a great win against a really strong team with his AoE team. He also goes up 1-0. Unfortunately, Patty had to play against Bad Intent first round. We don't have the replay, but I heard it was a really close game, and we gathered a lot of accurate information on his team from this battle. Next time, on Pokemon VGC, Challenge Accepted, Team Maximum Pulse slowly but surely makes its way through the tournament rounds. Can everyone still make top 8, or would team kills be our downfall? Tune into episode 2 of Pokemon VGC, Challenge Accepted, to find out.